I'm making this video as a response to a request I got. Someone wants to know how to take apart these older Kenmores. This is what I call the suitcase style. They were very rectangular, and they had a long carry handle on the end. Some were, this is the most common color, probably beige, but some were tan. There were green ones like avocado. There were blue ones. I have one of the rare black ones. They, like, toward the end of the series of this, like in the late 80s, there was a black one called the Heavy Duty. It was basically the same thing. It had the 3.9 motor designation. But anyway, so with these, you don't really get to anything from the bag area. So we're gonna worry about the bag area at the very end. So we'll take out a few screws and get into the. Now, this particular person that wanted to see this also wants to see, I guess, taking out the motor. So I'll take out the motor too. So this metal plate comes off, lifts off there. And then we have our wheel and axle that just pulls out. Now we can see the motor. This is a 2-speed model. So when you do take the motor out, be good to pay attention. Like, usually they're color coded. These 2-speed motors were normally 5. These had a 5 lead, 5 wires on the field windings, but they had a separate color on each wire that went with the vacuum itself, the rest of the wiring. So if you just pay attention to your colors, you should be okay. So then this plastic comes out, this has a repaired end on it. Usually it's a little bit easier. This end will come out, the end of the cord. You can just slide your cord reel out if you want. You don't have to work on the motor, but the cord reel just slides out like that. Kind of pull the wiring out of the way. Now down inside, if I can get a light on it so we can see it, we got 4 screws holding the motor down that mount the motor. Take these 4 screws out. You'll make it easy on yourself if you can find a 5/16 bit, because most of the time these screws will be 5/16. The hex head on it, or you can use a slotted screwdriver, but this will be much faster. All 4 screws are out, so now the motor is loose. And then we can open up our bag area. Take off whatever filter is there. And then obviously you would have also undone all the wiring. I'm not going to undo the wiring, it's pretty straightforward. But then this motor will just lift out. You just kind of twist a little bit and get the brush housings to slide through those, to go through those openings there. And your motor will just lift out. Now, one thing I kind of forgot to mention, before you take the screws out that mount this motor, you might have in the way a metal shroud that covers up this motor, like these field areas. I can try to turn the motor so we can see it. It'll be like covering this up and kind of like a shield that goes around it. Well, they mounted with 2 screws, one there and one there. There is actually a TSB, a Sears TSB, that tells you to simply omit that entire cover, because it actually it acted as a insulator, and it was actually overheating the motors. So best thing to do, I mean, what the heck? I mean, right now, 2016, these machines are well over 30 years old, going on 40 plus years old. So it's like, well, if it's still on there and it's been working, then whatever. But this one doesn't have it on. They tell you to get rid of the cover, and you don't have to worry about putting it back on. Just make sure all your wires are tied in place. They're not going to get wrapped up in the armature, and then you'll be fine. So there is working on your Suitcase Kenmore. If anyone has any more questions, I'll be happy to help you. Have a good one.